High up in the desert sky, about 480 feet above the ground, stands a giant pyramid that is more than 4,500 years old. Deep inside this mysterious pyramid, researchers wanted to know what secrets had been hiding for thousands of years. So they built a special robot with a camera and sent it crawling through a narrow shaft. But suddenly, the robotic camera stopped. In front of it was a huge stone slab blocking the way. The researchers were convinced that behind this heavy stone, a secret had been buried for thousands of years. They were desperate to uncover it, no matter the cost. So they attached a drilling machine to the robot, and with a loud rumble, the drill pierced through the stone slab. When they slipped the camera into the hole, what it revealed was a sight that no human eye had seen for the past 4,500 years. Welcome once again to the land of Egypt, the place of wonders. Here, a total of 138 massive pyramids rise proudly into the sky. For thousands of years, these structures have stood tall, surviving countless earthquakes and dangerous storms. Yet not a single one of them has shifted even an inch. Among them, the tallest and most magnificent of all is known as the Great Pyramid of Giza. The base of this pyramid is so wide that it covers 31 acres of land. To give you an idea, it is large enough to fit 9 whole football fields inside. According to experts, the pyramid was built using around 23 lakh giant stone blocks. Some of these stones weigh as much as 50 tons each. Imagine that. And if you add up the total weight of the entire pyramid, it comes to about 60 lakh tons, equal to the weight of 12 Burj Khalifas put together. But the real question is, why were these enormous and elegant pyramids built in the first place? Thousands of years ago, when humans had no modern tools, how did they cut walls so smoothly, inch by inch? How did they carve stones weighing 50 tons into perfect square shapes and then lift them almost 500 feet high without cranes? Who were the genius engineers who made the pyramids not only earthquake-proof but also angled every side exactly at 51.5 degrees? These are some of the incredible mysteries you are about to discover in this story. So, let us begin with challenge number 1. For centuries, research teams have been trying to solve the puzzle of how the pyramids were aligned so perfectly. Each side of the Great Pyramid points exactly toward north, south, east, and west. But how did ancient builders achieve this without compasses? Some experts believe that the architects first searched for solid ground that could bear the weight of millions of tons of stone. Then they studied the stars, especially the pole stars, to mark the directions. With nothing more than this simple technique, the pyramids were aligned perfectly thousands of years ago, to the amazement of modern experts. Challenge number 2 was leveling the ground. The pyramid covers 13 acres, and even the slightest unevenness would have made it impossible for the massive structure to stand firm. But the ancient builders had no lasers or modern leveling tools. So how did they do it? Experts think they dug trenches around the construction site, filled them with water, and then compared the water levels on each side. Any land higher than the water level was chipped away using chisels and hammers until the ground was perfectly flat. Some believe they even used a simple plumb line tool, a wooden frame with a stone hanging in the center by a rope, to check if the surface was level. Challenge number 3 was cutting the stones. Now that the land was prepared, the builders needed millions of huge blocks, but they had no grinders or saw machines. Still, they managed to cut 50-ton stones into squares and rectangles. How? Experts say the workers used copper tools mixed with a chemical called arsenic, which made them strong enough to cut through stone. Hammering for hours with these special chisels, they shaped massive blocks with surprising accuracy. Challenge number 4 was transporting the stones. The limestone they needed came from a place called Tura, 250 kilometers away. Each stone weighed 50 tons, about the same as 3 passenger buses combined. Even today, moving such weight would be a major challenge for transport companies. Yet, thousands of years ago, the Egyptians managed it using wooden sleds and large boats. They took advantage of the nearby Nile River to float the stones closer to the pyramid site. Experts believe that loading and unloading such giant stones onto ships would have required an army of at least 500 workers at a time. Challenge number 5 was lifting the stones up to great heights. Transporting them was one thing, but raising them layer by layer to nearly 500 feet was another enormous challenge. Some experts think the builders used a spiral ramp going around the pyramid, while others believe they used a zigzag pathway. Whatever the method, one thing is certain. Thousands of workers pulled those 50,000-kilogram stones upward with sheer muscle power. Challenge number 6 was constructing the inner chambers. The pyramids were not just solid stone. Inside, they had rooms, tunnels, and secret passageways. The surprising part is that while most of the pyramid was built with limestone, the inner chambers were made from granite. Granite is the second, hardest stone in the world after diamond. Even with today's modern machines, cutting granite is no easy task. So, how did the ancient Egyptians manage it thousands of years ago? For years, experts were puzzled, but finally they discovered the secret. The workers used a special kind of saw without teeth. Weights were tied to both sides of the saw, and it was moved back and forth across the granite. To help cut the stone, sand and gravel were poured into the groove. This process was painfully slow. It took nearly 4 months to cut just one huge granite block. So, why were the pyramids built at all? How many workers worked together at one time? And what exactly did the robotic camera see when it peeked through the slab that had been sealed for 4,500 years? All of this and much more will be revealed in Part 2 of our story. Thank you for your love and support. Stay tuned, because the next chapter is going to be even more thrilling.